is called syllabus run through. So that's what I would like to do. So Linda, what I'm going to ask you to do, if you will, is go to Blackboard, share the screen, and let's go to the syllabus, and we'll just talk through the syllabus. And you guys, your questions are always welcome. And every so often, I'm going to pause when Linda's going through this. She's going all the way back to the beginning. Now, this is a list of things that they say ought to be in the syllabus. I think almost all of those things are here. Maybe all of them are. I did not put a return policy, but anyway, Linda's sharing that. So Linda, that's just a checklist, but let's go into the syllabus then. Okay, now, so this is where information starts, and you may have questions, I don't know. So anyway, what we're seeing here then is that this is Math 1120, and this is really the same syllabus for VCM 002, which is who you guys are. And I did invite the people from Net 001 to come if they wanted to. And maybe we have someone from Net 001. I don't really know, and they don't have to identify themselves. But anyway, that's who is this syllabus is for. And I used exactly the same syllabus. And the reason I used exactly the same syllabus is I said, as much as possible, these two classes will be taught as one. And that means that I'm going to be having you do the same kind of things. So the VCMers are required. That means I'm assigning you to watch the net videos, because the net videos will be covering material that you should understand. And then the net folks also are invited to attend the VCM, and I am going to share these, share at least a list of what we did for them, and they're invited to come here and do this. So I'm trying to teach these courses the same. Now there is a difference, and Linda, I'm not asking you to be precise. I'm just asking you to, sort of wing it. But can you tell the students, and Linda is very experienced in these matters, can you tell the students what's the difference between a VCM and a NET course?
A net course is conducted entirely online. You do not meet synchronously, whereas a VCM course, then you do have assigned meeting times.
Okay, so that means more or less every Monday and Wednesday from 6 to from 6 to 7:15, Linda and I are going to be in here. So anyway, I'm really trying to run these courses as one, and Linda and I have done this before, and I think it will work better this time, but I still think this is the way to do it. So you guys are going to be given directions to watch some videos. You should watch the videos seriously. I'm not repeating the lecture here. We're doing different things. Now, I think they are useful things, but they're different things. So like we will work more problems here, or I'll say more and different problems than I work on the videos. I do work problems on the videos too. But anyway, I'm running these two classes pretty much the same. And that means you'll be grading together, you'll be taking the same tests, and so on and so forth. So I guess I'm going to pause and see if there's any questions. And one of the things, Linda, I learned from working with Mike McCabe this summer is when he counts, he says one Mississippi, two Mississippi, and so on and so forth, to make it happen that to make it really be a second. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to count to 10 in case anybody's got a question on that thing. And if you do, just you can shout it out. That's fine. There is a button where you can raise your hand, and Linda's very good at watching that. But I'm really going to ask you to shout out your question. And if it turns out two of you shout your question pretty much at the same time, I will pick one of you to go first, and then the other one will go second. So are we good with that that discussion that's there about the distinction between VCM and NET, and that I'm really trying to run these two courses together? So you guys are going to be assigned to watch videos, and you want to watch them with pencil and paper in hand, and really take that really is going to be a lecture. And then at the VCM, there's a really good opportunity for you to ask questions, and Linda and I will be doing other problems or calculations. So I'm counting to 10 Mississippi silently. Okay, I got to 10 Mississippi. No one asked any questions, so we'll go further. Okay, this is instructor contact information. Now, there's two places, and is that big enough? In fact, Linda, is it easy to do polls here or no? She's making it
I
bigger
have to
anyway.
click back over here so they wouldn't be able to keep watching.
No, okay, let's don't do that. So, why I think you made a command decision. You just made
Actually,
it a little bit. You made it a little bit bigger. So, at least I think this is going to be a little bit bigger whenever we get back to it. So, and Linda and I had some serious discussions about whether to do this on Zoom, and Linda said that she thought this would be maybe be better. So, okay, and then she's going here, and I don't know if that's bigger or not, but anyway, there we
so
go.
everyone can zoom in separately.
Oh, okay, so that will work. That will work fine. And I just have to figure this out then. Okay, or in fact, I can do that too, I guess, is what you're telling me, which is good. So I'm zooming in just a little bit so I can see it a little bit better. Okay, how do you contact me? And there's a number of ways you can contact me. One thing is I am spending time in the SRC 2102. And that is the Learning Commons, and I'll talk about when I'm there, but I actually hang out there a lot on a regular day. I do. And then I also do have an office which is BIC 3D12. I'm probably in the SRC much more than I'm in my office, but either I'm one place or the other or in between the two most of the time. That is my email there. It's bradley@cod.edu. And I also have a Google Voice phone number, which goes to my cell phone, which I carry around most of the time. And that's the Google Voice number. That is 224. Let's see, 241-7907. Okay, so that is some contact information about me. Now, when do I do office hours? Well, when the college is in session, like for example today, I was in the Learning Commons this morning from 8 to 8:50 a.m. in SRC 2102. That's really my plan. And I do that Monday through Friday. And then Monday through Friday, I have evening office hours. So after I'm finished tonight, I'll probably get something to drink and maybe do some more work. But then I will be having office hours also at from 9 to 9:50, and it says a Zoom address to be announced. Now, Linda, and again, if I ask you to do something that's extremely disruptive and just no good for whatever reason, feel free to say that's very inconvenient. But what I did send was an announcement to people of that Zoom address. So could you maybe go to Blackboard, the announcements for this class, and we'll look at that Zoom address for the 9 p.m. office hours.
Of course.
And I was very serious. If I ask you to do something that is really lame, just tell me, and we won't do it that way. Okay, so there it is. Now you can't click on that because of an anomaly. You see, that is an office hour that I have for everybody, all the classes I'm teaching. And so there might be people showing up from differential equations in that class, and there might be people from the net class, there might be people from this VCM. And so and that's true about both of my office hours. It doesn't mean that they're not good because sometimes no one comes at all. But when I was sending this to everybody, I had to use a broadcast mechanism in Blackboard, and it turns out that's not a hot link. So you click on that, and I do tell you that given the software quirks, you probably have to copy that and paste that, but that's where I will be. And also, I didn't work hard enough to program Zoom, but that gets us through midterm anyway. And then maybe I'll come up with another number for you. But anyway, that's where we are. And this announcements is actually a trail, okay? And this is a trail, and maybe Linda will scroll down, but what you can see is this goes all the way to the beginning of the term. Now it's a little bit backwards, but you see, I send you a lot of things, and so I sent you, general remarks about the class. I sent you items that were more specific about 1102, and then I told you where these office hours are. I don't erase any of this stuff, so it's all there. And so if you one time you say, "Wow, I think he sent me an email about that," then that might live here. And when Linda maybe she's already done this, I don't know. But when Linda establishes the GSG time and Zoom addresses or whatever she's doing with it, and she would be free, I suppose, to use Collaborate Alta here. But whenever she tells you the day and time, I have shared my credentials. And Linda, I just texted you a few moments ago with new credentials.
Yep,
Uh,
already got it.
but Linda can jump in here and Linda will send you things, but we won't erase any of Linda's stuff either. So it's always here. So if you say, damn, I lost that email and I don't know how to do it, well, you can go here and look. Okay, so any questions about that? I'm counting only to 5 Mississippi now. Okay, Linda, let's go back then to the PowerPoint show, please.
The
It's not
PowerPoint or the
PowerPoint, it's
syllabus?
no, it's the syllabus. We are going to do some of that PowerPoint stuff. In fact, maybe I should start talking faster because I've done this. Okay, and I should say, and I think I said this in the video, but I do make individual appointments with students too. So if you say, hey, I can't make any of those because of my life and so on and so forth, just contact me and we'll find a place when we can meet. Okay, the next thing is the course description. That's what you signed up for. That's what I'm supposed to be teaching. And I'm not going to read that to you. But I am going to tell you that what happens is that there's basically two components of the course. There's a statistics component and there's a physics component. And sometimes Linda and I have jumped around and done different things first. Linda, we're doing statistics first
Okay.
this time. So that's just what we're doing. Okay, and the midterm, when we talk about that, the midterm will be at the end of the statistics segment, and the final exam will be about the physics segment. And so that's what we have. And then we go into these things called course objectives, okay? And you can go down and look at these course objectives, and there's a whole bunch of them. And it says, upon successful completion of the course, these are things students ought to be able to do. And so Linda, just go ahead and go to the next page, please. Okay, so she just scrolls down, and about half of these are statistics things, and about half of them are physics things, and some are the others. Now, this one thing is a real mouthful, and I'm not going to make Linda read it, but number 8 is about half of the, or in fact, number 4 and number 8 is pretty much the whole physics part of the course. But there's a lot of things there, and we really try to go over that thoroughly. So that's what we've got going on. And let's see, Linda, I can advance this too, can't I?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so I won't have to always ask you to do that. But you see, we got a boatload of these objectives and things like that. So, and Linda, you can say anything whenever you want. You got anything to add yet, or things are okay?
You did mention the GSG delivery session. Those are going to be
Right.
on Mondays and Wednesdays from 5 to 6, right before class.
Okay, well, that might be convenient for the students and things like
Yeah, and I'll
that.
be
And
sending out the
so,
link probably sometime tomorrow, but those will start next week.
all right, so excellent. That's good to know. So those are happening, and wow. And I need to think about this, Linda. I don't. I guess you are in the other class, and maybe it's well, I'm trying to even think of what they call that. It's something like Quigley when you send things to, and maybe you know how to do that. Do you know how to do that or no?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'm good.
Okay, great. So we won't have to do that. Okay, there is a book. And in the past, and Linda, I am going to ask you a question about this too. In the past, I've said, hey, my notes are pretty complete, and I still think that's true. But some of the more serious students bought the book, and I think, Linda, what do you think? We should just tell students get the book?
I think if students don't get the book, then they tend to think they need the book, even though your notes are pretty complete and they should be fine without it. So
Okay.
it really is more of a personal call.
Okay, so anyway, this is the book. Now, let me tell you what I did in making this book. I went to the statistics book that we use, that is a statistics book by David Sullivan. And I took and I think it's the 5th edition of his book. It might be the 6th. It's whatever one I took. And then there is another book that is the physics book that we use for this course. And I just ripped the chapters out that we're going to cover. And so this is one place that has it all, is right here. So there's the ISBN number, and they should give you an access code. And I will give you some better directions than I've given you so far about how to access this. But I think really what you do is you just go to, and I will write this down for you, but you buy an access code, and then you go to Pearson Collections, and I'll give you some more better directions on that. You don't need this book tonight, okay, but you will need it sometime, okay. And I already talked about that. I'm treating these two classes as the same. So there is a book out there. This is an ebook, and there are ways that you can print it out, but it is an ebook that you can look at it, and it will be out there. And so if you want to do this, you can get it. Like Linda said, I strive to have pretty complete notes, and so there are some students who do just fine without it, and some people have rented pretty cheaply the statistics book and the physics book, and just rented the hard copy because they like to have hard copies. So anyway, there's a book, there is something that we're following, and that's going to be it. Okay, let's continue then, because I want to start doing some work in a bit. So I will advance. These aren't really slides, but you said I could advance pages. So we're here to another thing. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to the grades first, and then I'll come back for that. Okay. Now I talked about this grading before, but this is the way the grading will work. And I sort of wish I didn't have to give you grades, but I do have to give you grades. So the genuine metric, the thing that really either makes me happy or not, is did you learn something? And that should make you happy also, if you learn some things. Uh, but beyond that, what I'm telling you, and this is really true, if you learn the material, the grades will care for themselves. It really does. So I will encourage you to focus on the material. I know a lot of students say, oh no, I've had to fight for every point I've ever learned. Well, if you're investing a lot of time fighting for points, what is happening is that you're investing energy in things that are not directly learning the material. So I'm telling you, you want to learn the material. There are three major elements uh, that happen in the grades. We will have a series of low stakes assessment. And Linda, I am going to at least talk conceptually about the first low stake assessment tonight. Now, I want to tell you a few things about these low stakes assessments. Low stakes assessments are intended to help your grade. They're intended to help you learn the material. And they're called low stakes assessments because each one doesn't count for so much, but they do add up. And in total, when I stack all these together, it's going to count as 100 points. And that's 1/3 of your grade comes from these low stakes assessment. So you do want to do them because they help you learn and you pile up points and things like that. Now, there are take home protocols. So that means you can go to Linda's GSG session or my office hours or Cheryl Martin's Learning Commons, and you can get some help on this. Now, they're not going to just tell you, oh, the answer is 5, but they'll give you a leg up so that you can make progress and so you can get this done and things like that. And so those are called low stakes assessment. that's going to be 1/3 of your grade. The midterm exam, which in this case is going to be over statistics, is going to be 1/3 of your grade. And there is and I should not have said comprehensive final exam. There's a final exam that's over just physics. And that I used to give a comprehensive final exam and students didn't like that. So this is just going to be over physics. I should have changed that. I didn't change that slide. But so there's 300 points that you can earn, and it'll start as soon as you start doing those low stakes assessment. The scale is absolute. You all can get A's, or and I don't want you all to fail, but you all could get A's or B's or things like that. It used to be the gateway requirement for getting into the program was a B. I actually don't know what Melissa's doing with that now because COVID's made people think about things differently. But anyway, those are the scales, so I can come up with a grade for you. Okay, now, and I guess, and I'm trying to think of the quickest way to do this. So I'm scrolling down here. There's a lot of academic support that you can get. There's Linda's GSG, there's Cheryl Martin's Learning Commons, that we're going to have a one-touch access to get help there. And there are my office hours. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. And this says we have Linda Shaw. That's actually quite a blessing. And I probably, I don't know, I may be making Linda blush, but Linda is a very talented person. And she makes invaluable contributions to this course. And part of the invaluable contributions is that she's sage counsel for me. But besides that, she helps a lot of students a lot of ways. So I would really encourage you to take advantage of, not take advantage of Linda, but appreciate Linda and get involved in her services. Because I think it will really be worth your while. Let's see, is there anything else I want to say? Your test will be proctored in the testing center, and that's actually good for all of us. But these will be the high stakes assessments. So the midterm will be proctored there and so on and so forth. Let me tell you several good things. More or less around midterm, I'll say, hey, I'm putting it there and I will give you 2 or 3 days to take it. That means you don't have to take it on a certain day. You could take it on the day that makes most sense for you. That also means that we don't have to burn class time doing it. And the other thing is, I do not put a priori constraint on how long you can spend on the exam. If you want to go there and spend 4 hours on the exam, you can do that. Okay. I will have a nominal time limit, but it will be sort of open-ended for you. And I try to target these things to be 2 hours max that we have. Okay. I don't think we really. Oh, there's a question there. Do I say that Shadia?
Hey, it's pronounced Shadia.
Okay.
My question is, sorry for me being confused. Are you saying that we have to take the test in the lab?
Or, and here's the or.
Oh, cool.
You do. There's words down here. It says something like accommodations managed through access and accommodations. So, and I'm not. I guess I'm saying, let's suppose that you're. Let's suppose, and I'm not saying this is the case, but let's just suppose that you have a child who's immunocompromised or something, and you're, really anxious about COVID things. And of course, COVID is something to be anxious about. And so you might say, I don't want to go there into that testing center. Well, what I would do is I would encourage you or someone else, or anybody who has such issues, to get in touch with me and send me an email saying accommodations and just explain it. It will be private with me, or I will share it with accommodations people. But I'll just say, hey, this happens, and I've got this issue with this student, and we'll work through that some way. But I'm also telling you that my plan is they are working very hard being safe in this testing center. They have increased separation between the workstations. They hose these things down with Lysol. and things like that, everybody has to be masked. So this is as safe as it can be. Okay. For what we're
sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
I'll send you a message too, but I just wanted to mention that I am actually out of district. I stay over in DeKalb, so I don't have a
And
car.
there's another thing that, I mean, well, uh, uh, I spend it's not ridiculous because I'm doing things for students, I guess, but I spend an enormous amount of my time accommodating students. Okay. And so and by the way, I'm not saying this is the solution to yours, and I'm not trying to work your solution here in class with everybody else. First of all, we will find some accommodation for you, but your accommodation might be that maybe you live in DeKalb, but you say, oh, NIU is just around the corner. And I actually don't even know what NIU is doing relative to this. They might be requiring vaccinations of everybody, but there might be a testing center at NIU. And so there may be some, way we can get this done, or maybe the access and accommodations people would cook up something where you would get proctored over Zoom. Maybe. Okay. And I'm not trying to solve that for you. I'm just saying, send me the email and work through it. I have had students recently who were in Dubai, and that is not like DeKalb. Dubai is like in the Middle East. I had another student who was in Taiwan. So I have a lot of students that are scattered about, and those students actually, what we were doing with the students at the time, it was mostly just figuring out how we managed the time zones with those people. But anyway, I am about accommodating people, and so if you got issues with this, but this is what I'm really trying to do. Okay, is take advantage of this, and then I'll accommodate you as needed. Okay, and somebody else looked like they had their hand up, but then they went away. So I don't know if that meant they were happy with the discussion that was happening or what. But I'm just going to pause here for a moment. Okay, that's enough of a moment. Ask your questions if you have them. Okay, here's some things. This says when you have to drop by. I'm not going to dwell on that. This says when's the final exam supposed to be happening. I probably will use this as a deadline date for our course, but I'll put it in there, and you'll have 2 or 3 days to take it or something. So we'll go through that. Linda, what else should we have done here, if anything?
If I remember correctly, I think you skipped page 4.
Okay, let's go back and see if there was anything useful on page 4. I mean, a lot of this stuff is probably useful, but okay, let me see what I had here. Okay. I am not going to have, let me see, did I go forward or backward here? Yeah, there it is. Okay. Yeah, the midterm will happen whenever we finish the statistics, and we'll see when that is, but it'll be around midterm. And they will be proctored in the testing center. They will be proctored somehow. Okay, and we'll find a way to do that. And I'll tell you when they'll happen, and it'll be around midterm. I don't want to. There's not going to be any makeups though. So what that means is, if you got accommodations, you arrange them in advance of the date, and then we have a plan. I am not taking attendance here, although I think it's actually useful for you to come to these VCMs and come and stay. And you are going to be proctored. And I invariably every term have students who cheat, and cheating is dealt with kind of soundly. So just don't do that. I expect you to be honest, and so please be honest. Okay, and Linda, anything else? Oh, Linda, I wanted to ask you, is there, and maybe it's not you, maybe it's somebody else, there is face-to-face as well as remote math assistance area stuff in Sherrill Center. Are you guys doing face-to-face things, or is it?
Yes, we are. We're trying to get it about 50-50.
Okay, so if you do any of that stuff, and by the way, Linda plays a very prominent role in that. She's almost I'm going to say almost the manager of that, at least for the technical stuff she is. So this paragraph that says masks and stuff, if you're coming on campus, follow the masking protocols and things like that, because we're all about people being safe. Okay, Linda, I think I'm done with this, unless anybody has any questions, and nobody's shouting out questions, so that's okay. Now, Linda, let's move to, and Linda, I'm going to ask you to talk again about Microsoft 365. And the reason I'm asking Linda to talk about that is that one of the things that I do in this course is, even though you didn't see it listed there, I do it. I think it's a good thing to do. I think it really is good for you and uh, good for the program, is that we will be doing a bunch of Excel. Now, Linda and I will teach you all the Excel you need to know, but you want to have a copy of Excel, and I'm not making you buy one. In fact, I'm not making you buy anything. I'm saying, the book is there, and I put the book together, and it's probably good to use, but I try to have complete notes. But you don't have to buy Microsoft 365. And Linda, can you talk about that? And if you want to go to the website or something, or maybe just talk about it. But you see, you as a College of DuPage student get this for free. But I think before tonight is over, you're going to say, oh, wow, maybe I better get that. So Linda, go ahead.
Yeah, so with your College of DuPage email, then when you sign in, there's actually a way for you to download Microsoft 365 onto your computer. I did have a document explaining how to do this, but I can't find it just at this moment. But once I do find it, then I'll be sure to upload it onto the Blackboards for both of the classes. So you guys will be able to reference that and download it onto your computer sometime this week.
And I do expect you to do that because the rest of this period is going to be practicing Excel. And so I think you guys, I mean, and again, and Linda, they can open like another tab, and so they can have Blackboard there, but then they have another tab where they have Excel 365 open, and they can actually try the things. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And Linda, sometimes I don't know for sure what she's going to do, but Linda sometimes, shares things and, makes notes and things like that about Excel too. So this is an important part of the course. And I will tell you that you're much more likely to be more successful in this course if you pay attention to this discussion about Excel. Okay, so Linda, we're leaving this syllabus then, and we're going back to the thing, the PowerPoint show, please. Okay, now we're going to do some things, but Linda, instead of doing it in the order in which I've listed it, which might be a good thing, and we might get to that, but I would like for Linda, for you to, let's see, I'm trying to think what I want to do first. I guess what I'm going to do is, Linda, I'm going to ask you to lead a little discussion about grade point averages. And Linda knows that, and I'm just telling you all guys too, that I have on occasion on the midterm exam given you a grade point average problem to solve. So this is something that you want to pay attention to. This is how the College of DuPage figures out the grade point averages. And Linda's going to do Excel, and she's going to make up a thing. Now, the first low stakes assessment that I'm not ready to give you right now, and Linda, I'm not trying to talk in codes and symbols, but I do have a couple of things I want to share with you about that paper that we were thinking about in the conference, and actually it's tied to LSA1 in a curious way. So I will, you and I should talk about that sometime. And it's not a public discussion. It's something that we will have privately. But anyway, LSA1 is going to be a GPA problem. So Linda, if you don't mind, and you might say, gee, Jim, you're just taking advantage of Linda. Well, I really don't want to take advantage of her, but she is so very talented, and so I'm just let her talk about this if she's willing to. And Linda, if you're ever exhausted from all your other labors and stuff, just tell me, because I can do this, but I would like to give you the floor if you're up for it.
Sure, sounds good. Let me share an Excel spreadsheet.
Okay, so here Linda goes.
Let's see. All right. Can everyone see this okay?
So
I'll take that as a yes.
Yeah, a handful of people said yes. Okay, good.
Okay. So if we're going to calculate a GPA, then we need to know two things. We need the credit hours and we need the actual grade. So just making up some problem here, then we'll say that our student is enrolled in, we'll go with 4 different classes, and the grades they got were an A, a B, a C, and a B. So on a 4.0 grading scale, an A would correspond to a 4. That would make a B be a 3, and a C correspond to a 2. And our other B would also be a 3. Everyone with me so far?
Yes.
Okay. So to calculate your GPA, then the first thing we're going to do is multiply the credit hours by the corresponding numeric grade. So I'm going to call this credit times grade. So to do that in Excel, then I'm doing the equal sign. I'm going to click on the cell with the number of credit hours, and I can do Shift 8 to get that little star symbol. And I'm multiplying that by the grade. So I'm clicking on cell C2 to get that. I can hit enter, and that's going to multiply those two numbers for me. Now, if I click back on that cell and do the little skinny cross on the bottom right-hand corner, I can click on that and drag it down, and that's going to bring that same formula down a bit. Everyone okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So all I'm doing so far is just multiplying these two cells.
You got a thumbs up, but you also got a, could you do that again, Linda? And of course, Linda can do that again, but maybe she'll explain. I don't know what she'll do.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll do it right over here. So I'm doing equals. I'm taking that credit hours numbers in cell A2. I'm doing multiply. So to get that symbol, I did Shift 8 to get the little star. And I'm multiplying that by the numeric grade, which in this case is the 4. And I hit enter. So once I have that formula in there, then I can put my mouse over the bottom right-hand corner, that little dot. So it turns into the skinny cross. I click on that and I drag it down. So I get the exact same thing that I got before. Okay, so I'm going to delete those so we don't get confused. Now the next thing I need to do is add all these up. So to do that, I'm going to do equals sum, open a parenthesis, and I can just highlight those 4 numbers. And then I'm going to close my parenthesis and hit enter. So that gives me 43. Next thing I need to do is add up the total amount of credit hours that I started with. So that's going to equal sum, open a parenthesis, highlight those numbers, just like we did before. So now I have the total of the credits times their respective grades, and I have my total number of credit hours. So to get my GPA, then what I'm going to do is do equals, take the credit times the grades total, and divide it by the total number of credit hours. So when I hit enter, then the GPA would be about 2.87.
Okay.
Any questions
Now,
on this?
yeah. You saw
Somebody
that
type
comment,
a
Linda?
question? No, I did not.
They said, could you do that last bit again? In fact, Linda, maybe, and again, I don't know for sure what the last bit was, but maybe you could just talk through the whole thing again.
Yeah.
And again, you don't have to redo the calculations, but just talk about what you did.
So we had the credit hours and the grades to start with. So I'm going to highlight what we're given in the problem. From this point, then we need to translate the grades into a numeric grade. So if we're on a 4.0 scale, that means that an A corresponds to a 4, a B would be a 3, a C would be a 2, a D would be a 1, and anything below that would be a 0. So an F or a withdrawal would count as a 0. Once you have the numeric grade, then you can multiply the credit hours times the grade to get these numbers. You're going to add up the credit times the grade. That's how we got the 43. And you add up the credit hours to get the 15. And to get your GPA, then you're going to do the credit times the grade total. So in this case, the 43. And divide that by the total number of credit hours, which in this case was the 15. So that's how I got that 2.87 by doing the 43 divided by 15.
There was a question, will there be a video posted, doing this with Excel? And I guess I would say that you and the VCM would have the benefit. I think Linda is recording this. Is that right, Linda?
Yes, this is being recorded.
Okay, so and Linda will show you later. And Linda, if I forget, maybe you can remind me near the end of the period today. You can tell the students where they can go to get that video. But there is a video of this, and so you've got the video where Linda's talking through this, and you'll hear her voice and everything else with that. So that will be available for you there. Okay. I guess that's good. And now, Linda, if you're up for this, but you're going to be doing other kinds of calculations, not just GPAs and multiplies, but actually Linda taught you quite a bit in just this little segment that she did here. And so, Linda, I'm going to ask you to do some things, and I don't know if you want to write these on a whiteboard or and then do the calculation on Excel or what. I'm going to be reading things, and Linda, I'm pulling this out of a statistics book, but these are some of the calculations that you might be doing. Okay, so Linda, I'm just going to read a problem, and I'm going to ask Linda to do kind of these one by one, and we'll do this for a while, and then we'll go and maybe look at some of that other stuff. Okay, so Linda, here is the first problem. In fact, I don't know if we want to do these one at a time, or anyway, I will just read it to you. All right, so here's what we got. Linda, this is a fraction. The numerator is 1.23 plus 4.56 plus 7.89 whole by 3. And round your answer to the nearest 100th place.
Okay.
And she's going to do this with Excel, and you want to do this with Excel too, because and you might say, oh, this one isn't too bad. Some of the others will be, it's not bad, but they'll be different. And I don't know if you can I don't know if you can copy that and paste that into Excel or something, and maybe you don't even want to. You have the ball, Linda. Do what you want with it.
All right, so those numbers were 1.23, 4.56, and 7.89. So the first thing we're doing is adding all those up since they're all in the numerator. So I'm going to do that sum formula that we did before. So equals SUM, open a parenthesis, and highlight those numbers, close the parenthesis, and hit enter. So that's going to give me the numerator. And then he had us dividing it by 3. So right underneath that, I can do equals, take that 13.68, and do a backslash to divide by 3. So I hit enter. And we're rounding this to the nearest hundredths place, but it looks like that was already done for us. So I'm actually going to add a decimal. Okay, so that really is as good as it gets.
Yeah.
So 4.56.
Okay, so that's good. So, and Linda, would you talk to the students about what would happen about if you didn't do it with? And by the way, there's many ways you can do things as long as you get the right answer. I don't care. But this is a thing where, Linda, if they're adding those things in the numerator, parentheses might be required depending on how they do it. I don't know if I'm being clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you could also do it where you are adding everything all at once, but if you're going to add things in the numerator, then you need to make sure that you're grouping it appropriately. Otherwise, it's only going to divide the last thing. So writing it like this would be correct. But if you wrote that without the parentheses, in which case you'd just be doing this plus this plus the 7.89, and then dividing that by 3, then all that's going to do is divide the 7.89 by 3 and add the other two numbers to it. So this is going to give you a completely different answer. Now you also could divide each of these by 3 first and then add the numbers together, and that would also give you a correct answer. So if I divided each of these by 3, then I could add those together, and that would still give me the 4.56.
Okay, questions, or are people good with doing this kind of stuff? Okay, Linda, I got another, well, I don't know if I have one or two more problems I'd like to ask you to do, but I certainly have another one to ask you to do. So if you can go back to the, and these are things that can come up in statistics, formulas that can come up. And so you want to be able to do these. Okay, so Linda, Linda, you got a big old square root.
Okay.
And under the square root, there's a numerator and a denominator. I'm reading the numerator to you. 10, parentheses, 513.27. Close the parentheses, minus 71.5 squared, whole divided by 10 times 10 minus 1.
Okay. So if I go back to Excel, so the first thing I want to do is simplify what's inside of that square root. So in this case, that would be 10 times, so I'm going to start with that, equals 10 times, and that is 513.27. And that's going to be the first chunk in my numerator. The second piece is that minus 71.5 being squared. So I'm going to go ahead and take that equals 71.5 and square it by doing that little caret. And the way that I got that was by holding down Shift and pressing 6. So that's going to give me an exponent, which would then be a 2 because I'm squaring that. Now in my numerator, then I had that 10 times the 513.27 minus the 71.5 squared. So now I'm going to take these two numbers and subtract them. So I can click on that H12 minus I12. So this is my numerator inside of the square root. My denominator is 10 times 10 minus 1. So to get that, then I'm going to do equals 10 times, open a parenthesis, 10 minus 1. And that'll give me my denominator, which is 90. So inside of my square root, in my numerator, I have 20.45 divided by, in my denominator, 90. So this is my fraction inside of the square root. Now I need to take the square root of this. So I can do that by doing equals SQRT, open a parenthesis, and take the square root of that number that I just got. Or you can do this by doing an exponent instead of the square root function. So in that case, it would be that number that we just found by doing the 20.45 divided by 90. And we're going to raise that to the 0.5 power, which is the same thing as the 1/2 power, which is the same thing as taking the square root. So we get the exact same answer no matter which function you choose to do.
And again, Linda got the right answer. And one of the things this is kind of a general policy, you really don't want to round off until you get to the end of the problem. And so you use all the digits that Excel saves and uses in the calculations, and then you round off at the end. Okay. Now, one thing you might notice is that, and Linda knows this very well, for someone to earn an associate in engineering science at the College of DuPage, they have to complete 68 credit hours. So you see this thing up here where she did the little example with 15 credit hours. If you're really figuring out the grade point average for someone who graduated with an AES at the College of DuPage, you would be talking about 68 hours there, and probably well, four times as many courses anyway. And so what happens is there's a lot of calculation, but you see the way Linda did that, she could do those calculations for those much larger problem every bit as easy as what she did with this small problem. And so I could, and in fact, I am thinking I will on the LSA 1 whenever I post that and make you aware of it. And I'll go give you some time to do it. But that's going to be a bigger problem. And I'm probably going to try to take some, somebody who maybe earned a degree at the College of DuPage and earned a whole degree here, and you'll have to work this through with an Excel spreadsheet. So I do expect you to know how to do these things. Maybe you don't know how to do it tonight, but with Linda's help or my help or somebody's help anyway, you can reach a point where you really know how to do this. And some students say, oh, I'm going to go out and buy an Excel book. I probably wouldn't. I mean, that's not a bad thing, but I wouldn't recommend it because Linda and I are only asking you to do a few things with Excel, and the book would talk about many other things, and I think you'd get lost in the you wouldn't see the forest for the trees. So try to lock on to what we're doing here as your guiding light for those things, instead of buying an Excel book, because they'll start talking about all kinds of things that are very different. Okay, Linda, okay, so I think we've done enough on the, wait, someone's got something here. I will answer that. You can do both, but I'm going to encourage you to use Excel, just because Excel is really set up for this. You might notice how Linda could pull down those formulas and stuff like that. Most calculators won't do that kind of thing. And so I think, and I forgot who answered the question, but you'd be much better off using Excel, and on the exam, I let you use Excel. So it's set up for that. Nicely. Okay. Well, what I would do is I really hope what you're doing is maybe taking notes or something like that, and you might in fact try to work this problem that Linda made up, and try to work that. Certainly, you're going to be trying, and I hope succeeding, because you can get help in doing the LSA 1, which is going to be dealing with a grade point average thing, although it's a bigger thing. So I think tuning in on class and studying and asking questions when you don't understand is probably the best way.
Professor Bradley, would you mind if I made up a problem real quick and we give them like 2 or 3 minutes to work through it?
I'm okay with that.
Okay. So why don't you guys work on finding the GPA if the credit hours are, let's say, 4, 3, 5, and 2. And the grades are, we'll go with an A, a B, a D, and a C. So you guys work through that real quick and we'll regroup in like 2 minutes.
You have the clock, Linda.
All right. Then the way that we would do this is find the numeric grades first. So in that case, an A is a 4, a B is a 3, a D would be a 1, and a C is a 2. So from here, we can multiply the credits by the grades. So equals 4 times, and that's going to be an L2. I can drag that formula down. And then I'm going to take the sum of those. Then I'm going to take the sum of just all the credit hours without having multiplied anything. So that is sum open parenthesis, and I'm highlighting J2 through J5. Close my parenthesis. And then I can divide these. So that's going to equal N7 divided by J7. So I end up with a GPA of about 2.43. Did everyone get that? You guys feeling okay with this?
Okay, some people said yes, and others, okay. I think we're, well, you are going to do another example in the LSA, and you maybe want to watch this, and yeah, and you do want to get Excel, and that's the reason that we talked about getting Excel, because then you can practice this. Okay. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about something else. Linda, and I am watching the time. We got about 9 minutes left. So Linda, let's go back, please, to the PowerPoint show.
Okay.
Now, here's the deal. Now, we did talk about GPAs. I talked a little bit about LSA1, although I haven't launched it yet. What we got here is, and we did some calculations using Excel. So we've done some of this, but now here's what really happens, folks. A lot of times data isn't the way you want it to be. Okay. So we're going to go to the Cubs 40-man roster. And by the way, I don't know if you've been following baseball, but do not expect to find Chris Bryant there. Do not expect to find Anthony Rizzo there. Do not expect to find Javier Baez there, or John Lester, or any of the other heroes from back in the day. Yeah, I know I have strong feelings on that. But anyway, Linda, pound that thing. And Linda, we're going to do one of these. And let's do the wow. I'm trying to be sensitive to the amount of time we have. Let's go and let's talk about the oldest and youngest cub. So let's just go there if we want to find the oldest and youngest cub. So punch that hot link, please, Linda.
Okay.
And now what I'm going to ask you to do, Linda, is just run your and by the way, does it start with the pictures? I guess it does. There's going to be 40 people here. So Linda, what I want you to do is just run your cursor, capture all that data, and we're going to paste it into Excel. Okay.
Okay.
So now copy it or something. And Linda, you copied it by going Control-C or something?
Yep.
Okay, so she goes to Excel and she pastes it. But we don't need these faces. Okay, so Linda, get rid of those faces. And I mean, you might say, well, the faces are nice. I like them. But yeah. See, that has nothing to do with what I asked, because I think I said, who's the oldest and youngest cub? Okay.
This might take a while.
Well, yeah, but there's a point here. Data doesn't come, though, there's only 40 of them, right? Okay, because it's a 40-man roster. Okay, so we're getting rid of all these faces because the faces have nothing to do with what we want. You might say, well, no, people will always give me data clean the way it is. Linda's done some statistical analysis, and Linda, you don't always get data the way you want it, do you?
Yeah, no, just about never.
And over there, that column E, which actually I think is the birth dates, column E, look at that. Now, Linda, and by the way, Linda and I didn't rehearse this, so I'm not trying to put her in an awkward spot. But Linda, you want to know who is the oldest and who is the youngest cub. But you see the 920, that maybe has something to do with it. But what we're going to do is, what really matters, what's the first order thing you're going to look at is the day, the month, or the year?
The year.
Okay, so we need a column that just has a year. So Linda's going to, I know there's 40 of them, and I'm sorry. And Linda actually could probably do something cute extracting that, but I'm just going to ask you to pound it into column F, the years.
Oh boy.
You might say this is a bunch of work. That's why they pay statisticians so much, because they're doing that. Now there is wild and crazy stuff with Python, and Linda knows enough of that stuff. She could do something fancy, but we're not teaching you how to program in Python. We're just doing a little bit of Excel. So you see what Linda's going through is she's taking the year of their birth, because that's at least going to give you an idea of some kind of ordering, and we're going to do an ordering based on these years. And that means we're going to have the oldest people will be at the bottom and the youngest people will be near the top. And then we can do a secondary, even a visual search to find this. Okay. And Linda's got to get rid of those columns where they start doing that again. So you can lose that column or that row. What is it, 26?
Yep, I'll go back and get rid of it.
Yeah, and you'll probably have others because I think they're separating the infielders and the outfielders and all that. Now, the thing that Linda is going to demonstrate for y'all that you should be paying attention to is how to sort, okay? We got to be close to the bottom.
Here we go.
All right, great. That wasn't too bad. I mean, I know that was painful, but now she's getting rid of these headers that are there that you don't need because that doesn't add any value, just like she got rid of the pictures. So there's some data that you don't want. And that top guy, did you get the top guy?
Yeah.
Yes, you did. Okay, good. Okay, so now Linda's going to sort these, but she's going to sort it very carefully. Okay, because we want to know who is the youngest cub, what is their name, and who is the oldest cub, what is their name. So Linda, talk to the people, please.
So I'm going to sort by column F.
Where'd you go first, Linda? How'd you get that?
So first I went under sort and filter, and I did custom sort. So now we are sorting column F, and this is going to go smallest to largest. So that's going to give us our oldest people on top. So the oldest one would be this guy right here.
Well, you maybe that is the guy.
Well, the only two options would be these two.
Yeah. Okay. So
and
the oldest
June
guy
definitely
is.
comes before October.
Okay, so that one, whoever that guy is, we don't need to see their picture, but anyway, that's who they are. Okay, so he's the oldest dude, and then who is the youngest dude?
So for that, we would have to scroll all the way down, and 2000 is the closest year, so that would be Alexander.
Okay, so you see, and Linda knows that I ask questions like this. And Linda, show them just a little bit. We have only a minute left, but show them some of the other things under that sort and filter.
What do you want me to show them?
Alphabetical or something?
Okay, so we could also sort this by, I guess, weight. So that would be column D. So we can find the smallest, which would be Christopher at 145 pounds. And the heaviest would be Brad at 257.
Okay, so we've talked about a number of things. We've talked about calculations, we've talked about sorting, we've talked about a handful of things. Okay, I'm going to I'm about ready to dismiss you all now, but Linda, you got anything else you want to say for the good of the order?
No, I think that's just about it. I'll be posting that guide on how to download Excel sometime tomorrow, most likely, as well as a
Hey.
link to this recording, probably on YouTube.
Oh, so you're going to do that?
Yeah, I can do that.
YouTube it? Okay,
Yeah,
I don't want to. I don't want to overwork you. Honestly, I don't. So,
you're fine.
and I actually know some of that stuff takes a long time. Okay, I think we're off to okay, so yes, some people are saying they would like that. Okay, yeah, and we will be doing that, and people appreciate you, Linda, so that's good. Okay, yeah, and the ebook I have to do some more, but I think you end up buying an access code, but I'll say more about that. Okay, it is 7:15, and I try to stay on time. I'll see you all on Wednesday, and keep watching the email, because what you're going to see is I'm going to be giving you videos to watch, and Linda's going to be doing more Excel next time around. Okay, so good night. And Linda, I don't know what really makes sense. Probably if you could call me, that would be good. I won't keep you long, I promise.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Good night, all.